and I also was triggered because the truth of the matter is, you're right. You should do the work for yourself, and then basically the spillover effect is going to be that everybody's going to look at Calvados probably with more interest. So I like the focus is very important. But on the other end, let's talk about the brand itself. There are 300, 400 brands that get launched every year. And you know, you work for Diageo, I work for Campari, and this I don't know. I did some consulting work for Diageo as well, so guilty as charged. It's not that it's someone else doing it. We're all contributing to these avalanche of novelty, between quote unquote, because the truth of the matter is most of these brands sell because they have the best product, absolutely the best product. And as you say, but then you look at actually, it's made in the same with the same technology from the same raw materials. So it's 99.9% the same product, but it's better. Their product in that bottle, it's always better. So it's always a bit, tricky from that. But the question is, a lot of them are screaming, and a lot of them have way more resources to be loud than you have as a craft producer coming, on the marketplace. How do you stand out? How do you build a conversation with your trade partners, with your distributors, and with your consumers in a way that makes it useful for you and makes it unique for your brand?
It's a brilliant question, and I think $1 million question, because this is what we're trying to work out every day. I'm sure you can appreciate, as a startup, we don't just have this plan that we go ahead and execute brilliantly. We don't even have the budget to execute anything brilliantly unless we sell some pallets and get some margin back. So it's an ever evolving conversation. We are a year in, and that's definitely allowed us to sort of distill some learnings. I think first and foremost, something really important, again, that Tim and I are passionate about is the transparency behind what we're doing. So we're not going to stand here and tell you our product is better than anyone else's. We had an opportunity to take investment from one of the large spirits groups. We turned it down, and we're turning it down conscientiously because we want to stay independent, not to just challenge, but to actually raise the conversation for the whole industry. And the only way we'll do that positively is if we impact Campari and Diageo and Pernod. And Pernod are actually doing it really well. And so I think that's a really important humility lesson that we've taken, which is we did this exercise whereby an agency said to us, how would you like your competitors to talk about you? And we said, and we both did this separately and blind, and came back with the same answer, which was we would like them to say that we inspire them, that we engage them and motivate them to be better. So with that, I feel that we stand very much alone in what we're trying to do. So that's point one. I think then point two, obviously we're in a category where no one's doing anything. So that makes quite an easy conversation, especially commercially, when you go into, a specialized store who might have a few Calvados, fine, that's a different conversation. But if you go into a retailer, I'll use in the UK example of Ocado, which is, a very big e-commerce, but kind of supermarket equivalent that partners with Waitrose and Marks and Spencer's. Their buyer hadn't been approached by a Calvados brand in 15 years. So the conversation was quite simple. Oh, wow. And it's sustainable. Check. So again, we're somewhere no one's doing anything. I love vermouth, but there's a lot of innovation in vermouth. Right now you would be up against quite a few people doing it quite well. So now we're alone. And so that's something we need to take advantage of. I think the last thing to talk about again is that commerciality behind it, which is none of the global groups own a Calvados, right? So when we start looking at menus and Pernod coming in and buying up the menu and Diageo coming in and buying up the menu. So sure, if they're pouring Tanqueray, they're not going to pour Beefeater. But again, neither one of them are working with a Calvados brand. So we can always just go under the radar and always pick up listings without needing to have, the power of the big corporate and the huge portfolio to actually do anything. So that's really important.